Okay, so guys, welcome back. Welcome back. We're live. Welcome back to the channel and welcome back. Welcome to my live stream. And well, the thumbnail for today's, or for at least this live stream, is about dev team are psychos. Yeah, they are insane. Let's find out. Let's find out why or how the avowed dev team or Obsidian, the game devs in Obsidian, are psychos. Okay, so this is where I based, or on this video is where I based the message or the title in the thumbnail. Avowed dev team is full of psychos from Asmongold TV. Obviously, he is basically just reacting to another content creator's video. Anyway, let's go check this one out.
Oh, I saw this. Look at this. This is funny, bro.
Another
The studio for Avowed has, bro, they have a mole in the studio. They've got a man on the inside that's exposing what they're saying. Yeah, caught? I know.
blower has come forward from Obsidian Entertainment.
There's one good man.
Providing me with some actual...
So if there's anything good about the game...
I've actually seen this, I think. Yeah, this is a video. A video by Smash JT.
Look at the function of the game that's liked by players. That's the guy who leaked it. Yep. Real simple.
Screenshots
Just
of
fire him.
internal dialogue and conversations from Matt Hansen. And these screenshots that have been provided to me completely expose not just the toxic environment of Obsidian Entertainment.
Of course, as always, you must take the info
What's going on, guys? Welcome to another...
with a grain of salt, because
This is now the
Yeah.
these are all hearsay.
person
Yeah, sure, we are seeing screenshots, but
reaching
I
out
should make it.
in today's age of
That would be...
Photoshop and AI and deep fakes,
to me. Like a one-off...
anyone can fake a screenshot.
This is becoming like almost a daily trend where someone who works at
yeah.
Obsidian has had
I can't fake a screenshot,
shoving down
but there's a lot of people
to happen.
Okay.
out there that are really good at manipulating graphics.
And
I think that
extreme-
there's probably a lot of people that are worried about their job. Because, like, if you have somebody at your work that you know is causing a bunch of problems, you know that eventually it will affect you, right? It's not going to happen overnight, but there will be a convergence point where you get fucked.
really exhaustive article going through
It's gonna tank,
not
yeah.
just these screenshots, but additional information I've been
The Roach
told
theme
from
shirt, yeah.
other whistleblowers about Matt Hansen and his job security situation going on at Obsidian right now.
Ooh, uh-oh.
Because this is getting insane. A whistleblower with internal information from Obsidian Entertainment has
But what if the management itself are the ones
completely
encouraging them to
internal.
do what they're doing?
And this is also really important to say is that and
What then?
that you see, like none of it was notarized by like you know, the state, right? I mean, like it's not like we have a video of it. It's a screenshot, so like you can take everything here with a grain of salt.
There you go. That is what I'm saying.
Could all be bullshit. Yeah, it's always.
You must take this with a grain of salt because this is our all basically hearsay.
Once again, of course, severe backlash for daring to expose
Yeah.
the truth would soon follow.
Unless the person who exposed or shared the screenshots will,
The video game industry at large has turned into the
what do you call this?
I think
Will officially,
that
declare that
ideas get
he
out
actually
what you do private
saw or experienced all of this.
get out to the public that you'll be in trouble. Maybe you should think about the quality of those values. Maybe it's because the values are bad.
blackballing anybody who
I'm just
dares
saying.
speak out against the ideology, the message. The information they've shared with me is honestly pretty troubling.
The message is quite simple.
That's been created over the
Okay? It's very simple. The message is Jesus loves you.
now at
That is the message. Anything else is a lie.
Game Development Studios.
Well, that never
As
lasts.
with all my coverage with the video game industry, this insight I'm providing in this video is for informational purposes only. Please do not reach out, contact, or in any way, shape, or form harass any of the people I'm going to be naming in this video.
Here's the thing, Smash JT. JT, listen up. If you don't want them to be harassed,
Naturally on this.
it's better not to say or mention their names because even if you put out a disclaimer or a message like that,
They know that if people
there is always or there are assholes in the internet. Remember that.
Series of Slack messages from Obsidian's internal communications revealing a hostile and very toxic work environment led by none other than Matt Hansen, Obsidian's art director, someone who I've talked about in great detail in multiple videos previously. He oversees many
Again with the pronouns, by the way, the fact you have pronouns in your beside your name, it means you're not even sure whether you don't even know yourself, basically.
or dare question the next person on the chopping block. The internal Slack messages reveal a disturbing trend of certain employees at Obsidian banding together to ridicule and berate not just Elon Musk, but also going at Grums on Twitter. These people have Grums derangement syndrome and Musk derangement syndrome.
Why does everybody hate Mark Kearns so much? I can see like not liking his opinions, but I feel like the level of vitriol that Mark Kern gets is crazy. It's like what? Because he's the biggest on Twitter. I guess his takes are a bit deranged. Yeah, but there's a lot of people that are deranged, right? What I'm saying is like I don't think that he's like any more. Is he more deranged than other people? I feel like there's a lot of people that are deranged.
They cannot stand
Yeah, it's just
people
me.
on the other side of
Everyone is deranged.
some of the things they said here publicly on the Slack internally at Obsidian is pretty sketch. Schwa Alvarez shared the photo that many people have already seen where Elon Musk was pointing out how pronouns were in this role-playing game and how pronouns have no place in role-playing. And instead of them talking about this and trying to maybe put their heads together and reevaluate what the gamers want, they are celebrating it internally on their Slack channel, where Schwa Alvarez said,
Again, guys, no one knows actually. Okay, again,
People,
take the information in this video with a grain of salt.
it's not.
I'm just saying.
This amount of people is going up. That people, it's kind of like, you know, you can't fault humans for pattern recognition, really. And I think it's very obvious that like games that try to enforce pronoun usage are oftentimes games that have other types of unpopular, weird social messaging. So I think people seeing pronouns and they're like, oh geez, it's going to be one of these games, right?
Which is more believable when it comes with the message? The message that Jesus loves you, or the message that
But it's
a
that
man can be a woman?
larger ideology.
Clapping, sharing the image of Elon Musk pointing out how there's pronouns, and then Schwa follows it up with, let me know if this is too political and I'll delete it. Just thought it was funny, getting a shout out from the man himself.
I'm going to be honest, him saying that, there's nothing wrong with him saying that. There's nothing wrong with it at all. Wow, one of the most famous and richest people in the world talked about your game in a public place. Yeah, of course you'd mention this, and there's nothing wrong with him saying that. That's not bad, no.
And honestly, taking a step back here, sure, it was out of line to share this, but at least...
I disagree. I don't think it was out of line at all. It's directly related to their work, and it's one of the most influential people in the world talking about it. I don't think there's anything wrong with him sharing it.
Schwa was like, hey, if this is too political, I'll take it off the Slack, because honestly, they realize it's probably pretty unprofessional to share this and talk like this. They're just trying to own the chuds and can't help but celebrate it. But this goes to the toxic culture that's been created there, because Justin Bull replies with,
They call it toxic positivity. It doesn't make sense.
And
It doesn't.
Yep, easy.
How can something that is toxic be positive?
This is where it does.
Toxic,
Where
positive.
their idea of success.
They are basically two clashing.
Not a very good creative. It's not a very
Clashing ideas.
Chud means stupid conservative. Basically.
everybody's celebrating it with emojis and replying. Notice a trend with
Nothing is more stupid than saying a man can be a woman.
after their name. It's pretty
Even the most,
that the odds of
well, not the most, even intelligent people like Neil deGrasse Tyson
this environment making sure that people have gotten
says that a man can be a woman
Is that the only person?
because it's in his idea. It's all about hormones.
Because if
So all you have to do is limit one's hormones or adjust one's hormones. How do you do that?
it's just annoying.
You do that by taking
they just happen to all work together.
drugs or external hormones. It's not natural.
You can't speak in a gender-neutral way in lots of languages. Yeah, I wonder why.
The process, and that's one of the steps you have to pass. You share pronouns and then you're accepted into this cult. Daniel Chamberlain replied with, I've never been more proud. And Jay Turner said,
Maybe in the future, maybe 1,000 years from now,
this for a second. This is
because there are actually animals that can change their sex. I saw this in one video that there is a species of fish that they're born male, but through their life they change from male to female.
this was literally my
So maybe in the future, man or technology will advance far enough that
Oh, it keeps going.
people can just change
forgetting one
sexes
pick for our QA saves.
anytime they want. But that is not yet today. Today, that is not true. It's an impossibility. Sure, you can do that in video games like in Second Life or any other games out there that lets you, create a character.
So retarded. It is. Are they not ashamed of this combo leaking? I don't know. I think that they probably think that they're right. Like, it's kind of what I said before, is like, even, and these people are in no way, shape, or form, on that same level, but, a lot of dictators and, like, horrible people in history, most of them think that they're the good guy.
The same with villains.
There are very few people who think
Villains,
the bad guy,
villains think what they're doing
they're
is right.
the thing. Now, the right thing might be bad from the point of view of most other people, but they do believe they are doing the right thing. And also, again, I find it to be funny. The most obnoxious posts or the least obnoxious posts are made by the people that don't have it next to their name. Hey, everyone, we lost Grums. Okay, yeah, fine. It's whatever. Yeah, sure. Fuck this guy. It's whatever. But it's these people. I'm so proud that I made this guy mad. Yeah, it's just... I mean, I can't help but see the pattern there.
Coming from someone who was a former QA tester, I can speak to this and say, okay, I might be able to understand and grasp at that stage of the game.
Sure.
But keeping them in after you've done all the QA goes to show that you really don't need the pronouns in there. It was something for the testing, potentially required, but putting them in and leaving them there is just giving people who don't want them a giant FU.
Yeah.
Olivia Burkhead shared the photo of triggering conservative snowflakes is so hot right now. And Matt Hansen...
That's definitely... those are the people that you want making creative content. Oh, yeah. Triggering conservative snowflakes. Right, of course. I wonder how many people she has blocked.
So how do you trigger...
She has muted.
How do you trigger this liberal or progressive snowflakes?
Disagrees with.
Just reply to them with a picture of Jesus Christ.
Well,
That will...
this is the problem.
That will trigger... Or a picture of Donald Trump.
Where people like
Imagine that. A picture of Jesus Christ and a picture of Donald Trump will have the same effect
like this, we're not going to buy this.
when shown to
People are triggered because of that.
when shown to progressives or liberals or people in the extreme left, or not even the extreme left, just
To make the person
borderline left.
unreasonable. So instead of saying that they disagree with you, you're saying that they're pissing their pants angry, or they're, having a meltdown or something like that. So you emotionally escalate the language to create the assumption that the other person is behaving irrationally. And this is very, very common. And once you see it happen, it becomes like you see it everywhere. Where are you pulling this data from? My own personal experience and just what I've observed myself. Have you guys observed the same thing? Like, I've observed this a lot. Yeah.
comes in, and you would think this is when a leader at a company would say, all right, guys, having some fun, okay. Let's bring it back to work. Let's focus back on what we're doing here. We had our little jokes aside with this, and we're good with it, but okay, let's focus on the game, right? No, of course not. This is Matt Hansen. This rules. I am fully giddy over it. Good going, everybody. And people clicking the evil Patrick looking...
I have to say that I think it's kind of funny that his profile picture is a guy soy facing. It might actually just be him. I think it's very fucking funny. And, oh god.
Also, what?
Four people agreeing.
This is a screenshot, but why is it low resolution?
Extremely toxic work environment.
Okay. Come on, guys. If you're going to take screenshots, please make sure it's high resolution.
Kind of on the side with Grums. We kind of agree with Elon. And even if the people who don't, many people just want...
Well, it's also that, like, some people might find it weird, but the problem I think that a lot of people have is that when you try to have a measured conversation about this, you are misrepresented and labeled as some sort of word that's defined in order to make you stop expressing yourself. So I think that a lot of people basically are kind of ambivalent towards pronouns, but I think what's happened is that the seemingly forced inclusion of them that's combined with the seemingly... Like, you can't criticize this, you can't talk about it, you can't say this is bad, you can't be against it without being misrepresented. I think that a lot of average, reasonable people see that, and they see how dishonest it is, and it automatically alienates them away from the perspective. I think that's what happens. Because I feel like there's a lot of people who don't want to be, because they can empathize with the person who expresses a genuine concern or disagreement with something, or they just don't have the same viewpoint on it. But then when that person gets alienated, isolated, and then turned into a villain, well, I think a lot of people can empathize because they probably have, like, recently there was like this really popular tweet going around on Twitter, and it was, what was your most unwoke opinion, right? And a lot of people, the reason why it was so popular is because a lot of people, it's kind of like a getting it off my chest type thing. And that now that that type of ideology doesn't have as much of a stranglehold, people feel more able to express how they feel. And I think that there's a fundamental human desire to be able to express yourself and live your life and not have to live a lie, right? You don't have to, like, constantly acknowledge something that isn't true or anything like that. So be free. Yeah, people want to be free, and they don't like being told what to do. It's really just that simple. So I think that if you break it down to that level, and then you understand that people empathize with the person who's getting demonized for just having an opinion that's slightly off-center, I think that's why you see so many people that have been radicalized against it.
Good game. It's not
It's about
about
controlling people?
us
Yeah, it
versus
is.
them and this, that, the other thing. It's just make a good game at the end of the day. And it goes to show just how in their heads we are by daring to want good video games. Bray Seal replied with, stupid will be
And
stupid.
I also want to say, too, that this ideology will permeate the entire game. People like this, they don't compartmentalize the way that they think about this in one aspect of their life. It will affect the entire game, I guarantee it. There will be all kinds of weird messaging. There will probably be different dumb things in the game like that. There will be the same types of, like, you know, reverse stereotyping that happens. Yeah, it's not like they just check this at the door and they only have this for Elon Musk and that's it. No, it's an entire top-down ideology that affects everything.
Stupid, but I'll never get over how insane of a hill pronouns are to die on. Like, if you have to pretend it's not an effing backbone of language/grammar and then argue what, you shouldn't be able to choose what people...
Exactly. Pronouns is part of speech.
Because it goes against... So the problem is that pronouns create... This is, I think, reason why a lot of people don't like it.
You can't have personal pronouns because
And
it will cause
that you will provide them,
confusion.
which turns into effectively compelled speech. So when people did
Yeah, also because you're forcing people
have pronouns,
to use your personal pronoun, that is compelled speech.
they care a lot about this. That's why they're putting it in the game. So, and also when they care a lot about it, you can also assume that they care about other things too. So in order for you to die on a hill, it requires somebody...
Exactly. They care about other things too, like
People don't like pronouns.
castrating and sterilizing your kids.
Why are
Just remember that.
you on the hill of pronouns? Why are you building the hill
That's why I can't support the left.
doing this?
Because they're targeting kids
This unpopular ideology.
and they're even killing babies.
It's their game.
It's not progressive.
It's my Twitter account.
Nothing,
You know, Elon Musk.
nothing in their agenda or ideology is progressive.
What my
You know what's progressive? Getting to Mars.
that has a bunch of unpopular
That's progressive.
things that don't resonate with an audience
Finding cure for
and deem
incurable diseases.
like a victim.
That's progressive.
Video games are art, but they're also a consumer product. And if your consumer product,
Improving farming,
you will fail and
agriculture,
everybody in your company will be out of a job.
and things like that.
The problem is that this ideology,
That's progressive.
this is one thing,
Castrating children,
I actually think this is one of the most dangerous things
sterilizing children,
is what I would consider
wanting to have sex with children,
and moralism. And what I mean by that is that these are the
killing babies.
second chances to
Those are not progressive.
abusers and bad actors.
Those are barbaric,
And then the result
which means they are regressive.
feel good are that other people are in a materially dangerous, more dangerous situation in real life. And so what happens a lot, yeah, bleeding hearts. Well, yeah, exactly. But the thing is that it's not their heart that bleeds, it's somebody else's. And so what these people do is that they're happy to write checks for your time, your money, and your well-being so they can feel good about themselves. And as soon as you realize that everything and all of what they're saying is not based off of like a principle, and they don't live up to this principle themselves in a lot of cases. But these are people that are living in gated communities up north that are talking about how great illegal immigration is. Well, you don't even have any illegal immigrants there. How do you know this? You have no idea. You're talking about this as if it's theoretical. But you're more than willing to cash that check for somebody else. And so that's what I'm saying before. It's this selfish form of empathy and altruism that these people try to display in order to be seen as a good person. And oftentimes the outcome of that is that it will hurt everybody else around them. And I think that's what this is going to do. And so this form of, you know, performative altruism will end up causing people to probably lose their job at this studio ultimately, because this is creating a lot of negative press for the game, and it will create a massive negative reaction to the game when it releases. This is what will happen. And when those people lose their job, who, you know, all these people that are talking about this and like, you know, congratulating themselves for like adding this stuff into the game and saying about how good it is to trigger people, what do you think they're going to say? Doesn't matter, really. Doesn't make a difference. Hopefully, yeah. It'll happen, guaranteed. And it might not happen with this game, but it'll probably happen in 2 games or 1 game from now. A lot of times, you know, studios don't die with 1 game. They die with 2 or 3 games that continuously lose quality. I doubt Avowed sales are going to be impacted by this. People love Obsidian games. How could you say that with the, like, I mean, I feel like BioWare...
Again, with Avowed is gonna release in Game Pass. Game Pass has 34 million subscribers last I checked. Avowed is like already paid for by Microsoft.
Succeed than Avowed was. So I think that
So even if only 100,000 people, you know, buy or bought
Dragon Age could fail,
Avowed, they can still claim that 10 million people played Avowed, and then we will wonder, how is that possible when only 100,000 people bought the game? It's because of Game Pass. Once you have Game Pass, once the game gets released in Game Pass, all you have to do is download it and play.
Because they think that they is a accurate word to describe an individual. If you look at the way that the English language is constructed, they is plural. Like, a lot of people don't use it that way.
It's part of speech.
Yes. So I think that would probably explain why they're so loopy with their thinking. Matt Hansen replied, he is not a bright man. About Elon Musk. Okay, so...
I think that whenever, and this is one thing that I always notice, any time that somebody tries to make an intelligence, like a, what's the word for it? Like a judgment on intelligence of a successful person, and it's almost always a negative thing. The reason for it is because they're stupid. They're the ones that are stupid, and they look at success or why something is happening in a very one-dimensional way, and they can't see other people who disagree with them as being intelligent. Like, anytime that I see somebody say that, like, somebody like Elon Musk or Bill Gates or Mark Zuckerberg is stupid, I immediately assume that they're stupid. And I've never been wrong.
The richest man in the world, or at least one of the richest men in the entire world, who has run an electric car company, runs a social media company, runs a robotic company, an AI company, and has his hands in a lot of different areas of everything of society, and is trying to push society further, go to Mars, create SpaceX. Like, this guy has done more things this far in his life than half of humanity combined together up to this point. But yeah, sure, you can just say, Elon Musk, he's He's just an idiot. I just think he's really dumb. When in reality, the fact is, Matt, you are jealous of Elon Musk's success, and because it flies in the face of your ideology, you're calling him dumb. Jeremy Tedisco.
I agree with that for sure. I do. I think that's what it is. Yet they always call people dumb. I hate when people worship him. It's obvious Elon Musk is a very intelligent person who has a lot of visionary viewpoints on things that he has in some cases made into a reality. If that's not intelligence, then what is? How do you define, like, what is intelligence? Yeah, a decade ago, they were the ones praising him. Yeah, exactly. He's an investor? Yeah. And he made good calls. Warren Buffett's an investor too. He's a really smart guy. Charlie Munger was an investor. Really smart guy. Absolutely.
Replied, can luminaries have negative luminance values? And Peter Wano replied with, isn't that a dimwit? Which I guess now they're doing dad jokes against Elon Musk because they're all in agreement that he's not intelligent. But what these people are forgetting is this is a public Slack channel that people are chatting on at Obsidian and partner networks that are in it. So people all see this. And these people are so indoctrinated with their own propaganda and ideologies that they just think everyone is in the cult with them.
Yeah.
When in reality, they're not. And they're not accepting of this kind of approach to life. John,
no, they're not. And they're not accepting to it so much to an extent that the reason why they think he's stupid is because he doesn't agree with them. If he agreed with them, they would think he's the smartest person in the world.
Or replied with, not too late to
simple.
add a rat creature to the game and name it elongated muskrat that indistinctly mumbles something about pronouns and drops shoddy blood-soaked emeralds when you stab it, which, I mean...
What the fuck? Bro, like, what is this? This is amazing. Yeah, I don't get this. What is this? Immediate low IQ tell? Yeah, I'll read your comment. Not L take. A lot of Elon dick riders here. What part of what I said isn't true? L take? Yeah, no. What is it? There was a lot of Elon Musk dick riders here. What does that have to do with anything? So you're basing your opinion off of somebody based off of other people's opinions of them? So it's like other people like this guy, so I'm not gonna like this guy. What? I don't understand what this thinking is. What's the conclusion of this? I don't want to waste too much time on this. Yeah, okay, all right. Let's go ahead and move on. He roached out. He did. He completely roached out.
I'll be honest, I'll give him credit here. It's actually, it's pretty funny. Except when you consider that that's a person, and now you are putting their name on them and trying to murder them in a game and make light of it. Which, I gotta take a step back and be like, where did we go wrong here? Where did we...
Yeah, that's a really weird thing to say. I'm gonna be honest. Like, putting a character into a game that's supposed to represent or be an illusion to a real person, and then you get some sort of reward or something happens whenever you kill the character. This is something that either a third grader or a person with a mindset of a third grader thinks. Like, it's really weird. Yeah, it's just super weird.
Lose our way.
It's weird and
making
obsessive,
the
yeah.
RPGs fun and having a good time with them instead of force injecting ideologies into the game and trying to get a win just to own the chuds at the end of the day. What are we doing? These leaked messages from the internal Obsidian Slack reveal an environment where ideological hostility takes precedence over any sort of professional behavior. Employees are competing...
Or even just normal human behavior. Because they dehumanize people who disagree with them. And I think the best example of that is the elongated muskrat. That's not a person. There you go. That's what they do.
and taking
Yep.
increasingly hostile jabs at Musk, where one was even suggesting mocking him through in-game content and killing him. Then we have someone like Brianna Seal, who goes by she, they, joining in increasing the fervor with a statement saying, "I'll never get over how insane of a hill pronouns are to die on." And of course, somebody with she, they pronouns would be saying, hey, saying pronouns aren't a big deal is not a good thing because we should be putting pronouns in everything. And if you're trying to say they shouldn't be in the game, then that's your problem and don't die on that hill. While this...
Yeah, exactly. This is it's again kind of what I was saying before about how people who are, who are trying to push you into something, it's a very effective form of gaslighting to extrapolate or to radicalize your opinion into making it seem like more ridiculous or more insane than like what you actually thought.
Person is trying to die on the hill of why they're important. These people are lost in their own ideologies, thinking that the rest of the world are the crazy ones, unable
who cares,
to look
Andes?
internally at their own...
Yeah, never let
Wokeness, or those who are
that's why they're
infected by the woke mind virus, is like the I guess you can say
that's it.
the religious back in maybe just even what 20 or 40 years ago.
environment of actual developers at the company that care about the game that they're working on. And like a previous inside whistleblower told me, is not everyone at Obsidian is a bad person. In fact, many of the developers there are hardworking, good developers that care, that want these games to be great. And they're dealing with these internal pressures and struggles from people like Matt Hansen creating this environment, allowing it to flourish there. It's really as simple as that. A completely different whistleblower recently reached out to me, revealing that Matt Hansen is reportedly protected by the higher-ups at not just Obsidian...
There you go.
I could see
I said earlier, what if the higher managements are the ones encouraging it?
they're gone. Like, he might have friends there or something like that. Oh, yeah, for sure. But after that, it doesn't matter. The guy needs to be sacked? Yeah, I mean, I think he does too. And by the way, never feel bad about saying that, because if you said something that was politically incorrect from his viewpoint, he would be one of the first people that would be promoting and trying to advocate for you being fired from your job. This is the exact kind of person that does stuff like that. So never feel bad for people like this.
Microsoft proper, with his job being completely secure at this time, despite the growing backlash and the constant toxic work environment that he himself has contributed to cultivate. And taking a step back just from hearing that information, especially considering everything else that's come to light regarding the toxic behavior and leadership styles, it makes you wonder, if the protection is indeed the case here, why is that? It almost seems like Microsoft themselves is in agreement with, or at least complicit in, the way Hansen is acting.
Come on, isn't it obvious?
Because they're ideologically captured by this viewpoint.
There you go.
Because their entire probably HR
Exactly.
are filled with people that think like this. So there's never even a point where
They are aligned.
without it being tied
Again.
to the inevitable conclusion that they're right. So that's the reason why it keeps happening. And this is why I think these studios are going to have a really hard time getting rid of these people. It's because these people effectively have infected these studios in these different points of like art, like whether it's like movies, TV shows, like Netflix stuff, like The Witcher, for example, or like a video game. They've infected this at a very, very deep level. And in my opinion, I don't think that you can get them out. I don't think you can get rid of them, and I think that they will kill the entire studio. That's what my perspective is. I think they will completely kill it. They're a cancer? Yeah. The studio will shut down? Yeah, and you see this happen constantly. Corporos still think that's what gamers want. It's more than that. They, maybe for the people that think that that's not what gamers want, they're still terrified of the idea of acting against it, because they're worried about being labeled or slandered as if they were like haters of this ideology. They're worried about getting canceled, basically, right? And so this is basically and this is how, again, this is how these people wield power, right? There's this ecosystem of grievances that these people use in order to maintain a power structure, right? And so like what they do is there are like journalists and there's media that tries to push the narrative that this is important and that you need to have this, and that media itself, art, should be graded on these criteria. And then they create the necessity for people in the company to solve the problem that media creates. And then you can see how these things keep together, right? And there's like an ecosystem for it. So they necessitate each other. And then you also have just groups of people online that think this way too. It's a DLC system, create problems so they sell solutions. Yeah, exactly. It's like having energy in a gacha game. Why do you have energy in a gacha game? Well, I'll tell you why. It's so you can sell the solution to energy. This is the same thing fundamentally.
Itself raises serious questions about the company's stance on fostering healthy, and this is what they always say, inclusivity at the workplace, when what they're doing is creating an environment of hostility and toxicity where if you are not part of it, then you are the outcast, and ergo you are next on the chopping block because you don't fit in with like-minded people. It's time for us to shine a big spotlight on these actions and hold leaders
I agree with him on this. I think that these people do need to be held accountable, and the public needs to be aware of the kinds of things that they say and do. It's a very extremely unpopular ideology, and it's held together by a group of people that maintain a stranglehold on communication. And that stranglehold was broken by Elon Musk when he bought Twitter, and that's why they hate him. And the fact is that in any sort of public space, this thinking immediately dies, and it's immediately seen as ridiculous. That's why they're afraid of it getting out. They're afraid of it getting out because deep down inside, they know that they're wrong. They know that what they're doing is self-indulgent, belligerent, childish, and mean. They hate free speech. Exactly.
Matt Hansen accountable for fostering toxicity in the workplace. Studios like Obsidian need to be places where creativity and innovation thrive, not where employees are bullied into ideological submission. Gamers...
And you shouldn't hate on anybody in the company that doesn't speak out against this, because a lot of people are just people that want to have a job and you know, like, let's say they do art for this game, and they just want to do the art for the game and that's it. They don't have, like, not everybody has to be a soldier in your army. There's no, if you're not for us, you're against us. There are people that say, I don't care about this. That's fine. If you don't give a shit, totally fine. The only issue is when you tell other people they can't give a shit, or you tell people that they can't give a shit, and they have to care.
Deserve better. Developers deserve better. And most importantly, the entire video game industry on the whole deserves better. And at this rate, the only thing we can do to fight back is to just shine a spotlight on it. Air this dirty laundry out for everyone to see. And hopefully, naturally, change will happen and shift the game industry back to a better place. And I already feel like that's kind of starting, but we got a long way to go. Anyways, I've already droned on enough with this. There is a lot more information if you guys are interested in taking a deep dive. Check out smashjt.com for the full article. I will link it in the description below. If you guys appreciate what I'm doing, hit that join button. Thank you so much to this whistleblower that reached out. I know it took a very brave person to do this and share these messages.
It's also really important to...
Of course, because once the whistleblower
like something shared of a game recently.
If he gets revealed, it will cost him his job, obviously.
Never take, like, I mean, like, I don't know.
That is, if there is an actual whistleblower. Again, just take everything,
what's being said, specifically word for
everything with a grain of salt. Yeah, these are all hearsay.
But
it's third-hand information.
Let's be real. It seems too tame to be fake. I also agree that I think that it's real. If I didn't think it was real, I wouldn't have talked about it, right? But me thinking that it isn't the same as it being.
Because I know I know exactly what's going to transpire now. Instead of Obsidian taking a step back and looking internally and trying to reevaluate what they're doing, they're going to start looking for who this person was and find out what happened and how this leak got out there.
Yeah, it's real simple to find out who did it. Look at the person who, when the game comes out, their work was well received by players. That's the person who did it.
Complete wrong approach, and I hope I'm wrong about that, but I think we already know better. But hopefully, eventually, they start realizing internally that the problem is with them. Thank you guys so much for watching, and as always, you stay smashing. And it goes to show just how in the heads people are with these...
Nope. Good one. Yeah, I'll be honest, like, I feel like a lot of these posts, a lot of this wasn't really that bad, but I think towards the end, it definitely got weird. Especially with like talking about like finding an animal and making it named after Elon Musk, and then
elongated muskrat.
Drop shoddily blood-soaked nimbrels when you stab it. Like, in my opinion, like if I worked at a company, I wouldn't say anything else in this entire thread was problematic at all. But if I did work at a company and I was in charge, I would say to this person, like, you have to delete that. Like, you can't talk like this in a public professional setting. Like, it's totally over the line. Like, that's the only one that I think is actually over the line. Super unprofessional. Yeah. So no humor. When the humor is based around creating caricatures of real people and then killing them, no. Yeah, no, that's not. It's the same as like you don't really make race jokes at work, right? There are obvious, like, you don't make jokes about like how the female employees are fat or ugly or how big their boobs are. Like, everybody knows this. Like, a lot of us have been in professional spaces before. We understand how to act. We know what the difference between humor and you know, grotesque bad behavior is. It's obvious. So yeah, it's that simple. I just think Obsidian, based on the quality of the recent games, is worthy of benefit of the doubt over whether this is real or not. It matters. I think that I will play the game when it comes out regardless. This is a good video. I hope JT's right about this, because I feel like the more times that like people push leaks around and then they are turned out to be fake, people, like, it just makes everybody look stupid. But yeah, you know the difference. A lot of people don't. Yeah, but other people's stupidity doesn't mean that it's my problem. And so it's the same thing that I've said with my stream. It's like I've always said in like any of like my guilds in like
Okay, so that was Asmon reacting to Smash JD's video about the insanity that is happening in Obsidian Studios, or Obsidian. Okay, 1 hour ago, this is this is quite interesting, by the way. This is quite interesting. So this guy, you know, the guy with the curly hair, he got acquitted. He was found not guilty for accidentally taking a man's life, and the man was like a danger to society. The reason why is because the man that died was like threatening and causing problem and threatening people in a train or something. And now, so basically the man who died was like doing something bad, and this guy here tried to stop the man doing something bad, but in the process the man was doing something bad died, and now the other people that you know, that supports criminals, there are people in the United States that for some reason they really love their criminals. Yeah, it doesn't matter whether the person is a rapist or a child abuser or a child murderer. They freaking love their criminals. So if you take the if you know, do something that will justify your action. Maybe you found a young girl getting raped, and you tried to stop the rapist, but in the process the rapist died. Oh my goodness, there are people in the states that will what do you call this, they won't like it, and they will go out of their way to protest, you know, protest the protest you for saving a little girl or a young girl or a young woman or whatever from the rapist. It's quite insane. I don't get it. Yeah. So there, there are people who glorifies or like are fans of real life heroes. And I guess in the States, in the US, there are people who glorifies criminals. So weird. They even build statues for criminals. They glorify them. My goodness. And I don't understand why, there are people here in our country, in my country, that that would love or would like to migrate to the US. At least here, criminals are treated as criminals. There, criminals are like treated as heroes. Really insane. Okay, let's see this one. This is 23 minutes long. It's Sweet Baby Woke Defenders demand Marvel rival success stop. How can you demand something like that? My goodness. We demand that you don't. We demand that you stop your game for being successful. That is insane. There's so many insane things happening in the West. Well, there are also insane things happening here in the East, but most of them are caused by poverty. People going hungry and trying to find food, or just trying to survive every day. Look at that. Jenk, how do you, Jenk Uger wants you to forgive him. This guy's another insane guy. Yeah, super insane. I used to watch TYT, when back in the day, while I was like doing my work, I would have TYT playing in the background because I really thought they were doing. I thought they were honest, but then later I realized that they are just insane people. They are trying. They like to spin things. They would take things out of context, and they would clip videos to show you just the part that would justify what they're saying. But if you watch the rest of the video, if you get the full context, you'll know that what they're saying is not true. Once I realized that they were like spinning the truth into their own truth, I stopped watching. Skeleton Crew flops. Why? Maybe it's bad. No one wants to watch a bad Star Wars show, basically. It's basic. Here we go again. Oh, look at that. Marvel brings back Chris Evans. I think Chris Evans was like involved in a dick pic showing issue, but nothing happened to that because I guess a lot of people like Chris Evans to even bother canceling him. See, if you're popular enough and a lot of people likes you, you can get away with a lot of things. Whoa, let's go and watch this one from my current favorite space pirate because he pays taxes, Dr. Disaster. CDPR realizes The Witcher 4 won't be sustained by the modern audience. The modern audience is like 1% of the general gaming audience. Oh my goodness. Again, the idea is so stupid. They know they have their core audience, and they thought that by appealing to a different set of audience, by making their games appeal to another audience, they would get those audience, and then with their core audience, they'll have more audience. But what happens usually is because they tailor their game to fit the modern audience, what usually happens is that they alienate their core audience, which is the larger part, or the larger part of their entire audience. So in the end, they lose money because the modern audience don't buy their game because they usually don't buy games. Sure, there are gamers that are part of the modern audience, but there's not a lot of them, honestly. And now the core audience, they also won't buy the game because it wasn't made for them. In the end, the studio, the company, the developers, they're the ones losing money.
What's up, space pirates? This is your admiral, the Dread Pirate Dr. Disaster.
Again, he's now an admiral.
Flying as hell to see a gaming company that
Look at that, 100k subscribers. Wow, amazing.
loved their products to watch them squirm as they try to repair the damage done.
It was a terrible mistake, sir. Please, believe me, I would never do anything to offend a man of your size.
CD Projekt Red seems bound and determined to cover their tracks on news about The Witcher 4, which has reportedly become the company's almost exclusive focus these days. You may remember that a few months ago, we talked about the news that Geralt was being sidelined in the franchise, which was disclosed to the public by the character's voice actor, who said The Witcher 4 won't focus on Geralt. It's not about him this time. In other words, just like so many other franchises before this one, we were going to see the main character swap.
And there you go, guys. Another one will bite the dust. Dun, dun, dun. Another one will bite the dust. Another one will bite the dust. And another one died. Another one died. Another one will bite the dust.
Fan favorite of the series, he's the
I have all Witcher games. I haven't played any of them yet.
we're seeing the later
I don't know. I got all of them for free, by the way.
this voice actor,
They're in my GOG account.
and it really begs the
Maybe I should start playing it.
are the internal numbers really that bad?
It's bad. It's so bad. There's blood everywhere.
Just a few weeks ago, the studio came under fire from gamers after one of their developers decided to mock a fan who said that she was not excited about the game. She expressed concerns over the DEI and ESG shit that CD Projekt Red has been embroiled in, and she was mocked for it. Now, a couple weeks after that, and we're seeing CD Projekt Red is essentially pushing this voice actor to publicly denounce what he said 4 months after the fact. To me, this reeks of a company that is desperate for good PR after seeing the reaction from fans. These companies and their employees seem to suffer under the delusion that they can just say,
Honestly, I've said this like
with these properties and
a few times already.
that everything will always be okay.
If they're making a woke game, if they're making a game for the LGBTQ audience, if they're making a game for the modern audience, they should just be honest. Seriously, they should be honest. Just tell their fans that this game is for a certain type of audience. But don't worry, we're going to make another game in the series that are for all of you, our fans. The thing is that they are trying to hide it.
Alright, me hearties, make sure you like this video and
As if
already.
their fans won't find out,
Stones like crazy, and we just
which is weird.
meaning that it's time.
Why wouldn't they find out? Why?
How many assholes we got on this ship?
Obviously, their fans will eventually find out.
Now hit 104,000 space pirate a-holes.
Come on, Dr. Disaster, are you
The custom on the channel with every 1,000 subs
are you rubbing it in?
in order to house the new guys. This time, one of you suggested the Moonanite ship from Aqua Teen Hunger Force, a show that I have spent countless hours watching and laughing at. But if any of you have suggestions for future ships, drop them into the comment section below and I'll add them to my list. Super chats get bumped to the top of the list, and also, for your reference, I added a complete alphabetical list of existing ships to the description of this video. But in any case, thanks for being here, folks.
I knew it. I'm surrounded by assholes.
Anyhow, let's talk about this whole situation with CD Projekt Red and how they're just now forcing the Geralt voice actor to deny what he said a few months back. Specifically, the voice actor named Doug Cockle was the guest star on a YouTube show called Fall Damage, and on there he said, Witcher 4 has been announced. I can't say anything about it. What we know is that Geralt will be part of the game, we just don't know how much, and the game won't focus on Geralt, so it's not about him this time. He then did the playful thing with the audience where he tried to make it sound like he might be disingenuous or he might be telling the truth, but what he stated was very specific, and it was stated in a fairly matter-of-fact manner, so I doubt very much that he was lying. If it wasn't true, then why deny it now? If it's just a matter of trying to keep people in the dark, then why not just let things stand? But no, I think CDPR realizes, or is just now realizing, that sidelining Geralt is not a popular idea, and that the only way to get by with it,
Why would you sideline
and they can pull the
your main character?
in the same way The Last of Us 2 let people think that they'd get to follow the story of Joel, the continuing story of Joel, and then of course they changed that really quick once you started playing the game. The fact that this guy is just now retracting what he said 4 months ago is very interesting, considering the shitstorm that came down on CDPR just a couple weeks ago. As a reminder, the IGN X account wrote that The Witcher 4 has entered full-scale production, and this Twitter user here replied, "I'm not excited over it, and The Witcher series is one of my favorite game series. CDPR is too deep into DEI ESG bullshit." And then this guy here, who works at CDPR as a senior designer, replied with the hand over the mouth emoji and the clown emoji, which is shorthand for "shut up, you clown." That's not very nice, of course, so it set off a bit of a conversation in which this dude retreated like a chicken shit. The Twitter user replied, "Wow, that's very professional of you. You know I'm a customer, and more than that a fan of the Witcher series? And you're a senior experienced designer for CD Projekt Red? Are you sexist too, telling a woman to shut up and calling her a clown?" And then the snake in the grass CDPR employee replied like the little crybaby that he is, "Immediate allegations and misinterpreting. Just wow." And then another Twitter user responded, "They aren't allegations at this point, and behavior like this post only proves we are correct. From your perspective and the company's, you should have just kept quiet." And then this dev replied, "I'm sorry, I'm not going to engage in this conversation further. No matter what I say, it will be misinterpreted to prove whatever point you'd like to prove. Assuming that everyone should know one's gender on the web and make an attack based on that is simply wrong." And of course, this D-bag is essentially saying that if he had known the Twitter user he was responding to was a woman, then he wouldn't have said what he said. Which is, of course, a very sexist view of things, because he's assuming that a woman couldn't take it, I guess? But anyhow, naturally, people were pretty pissed off about this, and it blew up across the internet. And now, just a few days later, we're hearing that this voice actor for Geralt showed up at a Comic-Con and essentially retracted what he said a few months ago. The timing is extremely sus. I expect that CD Projekt Red themselves pushed him to say this. This article from Games Radar quotes the guy, "I did go online and I said something about this, and then I got slapped by CD Projekt because I don't know how true it is." He begins when asked his thoughts about no longer being the main character. "I went off a rumor. I thought I'd seen somebody from CD Projekt say that Geralt will be in Witcher 4, but he won't be the main character, and I don't actually know if that's true now, because they came back and they went, 'We haven't put anything out there, don't say anything.'" And now, two things. First of all, that is an extraordinarily flimsy excuse. He was very specific about what he was saying when he initially told us that Geralt was going to be sidelined in The Witcher 4, that he wasn't going to be the main character, he wasn't going to be the main focus. He was very specific about it, and now he's just calling it some kind of a rumor. It's pretty flimsy. But second of all, one bit of information that's easy to miss in the paragraph that I just read is the fact that this was all said in response to a question about his thoughts on no longer being the main character. These interviewers are almost always told what to say and what to ask beforehand when interviewing people like this. That's how they get access in the first place, by saying and doing what they're told by these AAA studios. And I find the timing of this, once again, to be very interesting then. They put out the press release that The Witcher 4 is going into full production. One of their employees makes an ass of himself, sparring with gamers who don't like the direction the company is going, and then, days later, this voice actor swoops in and retracts a rumor that many gamers were not going to be thrilled with, and that essentially pushes the idea that CDPR is going woke. In my mind, this is just more damning evidence that the game will be, or at least
Basically, at the start of Witcher 4, Geralt will undergo a sex change
about the story of the game, and they are making
using magic, of course.
the developer talk shit to customers, and then it's crickets. The company's silence on this,
And
but I'm gonna leave it there.
he'll also have a new name. He'll be called Geraldine. No longer Geralt.
Thanks for watching me, Hearties. If you haven't, your admiral is inviting
So Geraldine is the new protagonist of The Witcher 4 or The Witcher series.
may not be glamorous, but there's always plenty of booze.
And because there is some kind of the enemy has invoked some kind of spell that changed all the men in the game or in the universe of Witcher into women. even the children, the boys turn to girls, and everyone else. Even the animals. And the story is, the new Witcher Geraldine learned that there's a group of former men, and they're trying to find the, whoever casted the spell, and they would, try and restore everything back to normal. But Geraldine will stop these people because he wants to stay as a woman. Just kidding. Okay, so there you go, guys. An hour of another hour has passed. That was quick. Anyway, guys, that's it for this one. Hope you guys enjoyed the stream. And if you did, please follow the channel in Rumble, like the stream, share it. Also, what else? Yeah, YouTube, subscribe, Twitch, follow. Better yet, go to Rumble and follow the channel there. So that's it. See you in the next one. Bye bye for now.